Welcome. Welcome to day one of the summer sales extravaganza. I am super excited to be here and this is going away. Okay, so if you are on here live, let me know where you are checking in from. I apologize for being a little bit late because we're trying to figure out all this tech. So right here, right now, we are in the 5-day free masterclass series. My name is Susan McVeigh. I'm a married mama of two, and I am a business sales strategist helping you to sell with more ease without the sleaze so that you can make double the results without double the work. If that sounds like you, you are in the right place. And today, we're talking about day one, which is what the heck are you selling? Now, I'm going to be talking a little bit about your offer, how to make things irresistible, and why oftentimes what we're truly selling isn't what we think. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. If you have any questions as we go through, I want to make this really interactive, value added for yourself. This live video will be pulled down. It will become unlisted. So if you're on here live, please make sure that you're getting the most out of this. And if you would like to have access to the replay, please make sure that you sign up. The link should be in the description below for you as well. So let's do a quick overview of what you're going to expect over the next 5 days. Okay, so this is a summer sales extravaganza. This is me just wanting to give to you and hopefully anybody that's stumbling upon this for the duration that we have. I expect that we won't go more than about an hour, but it depends on the nature of the questions that you might have and just go in with the flow. So today we're talking all about what are you selling? Tomorrow, day two, same time, we will be talking about the real reason, like what gets dream clients wanting to work with you. And the real reason that you can actually command premium prices, no matter what it is that you sell, right? So there is no exact formula, but there definitely is a framework that you can follow. Day three, hello, Ruth. Welcome, welcome. Day three, we're going to be talking about why do you keep hearing objections on your sales calls? Now, I'll share as we go along, but this is not the Susan show. This is really about me sharing and hopefully giving you some value that you're going to be able to take away. And as we go through, I'll tell you a little bit more about like who I am, why it even matters, and why you should even care about the things that I'm talking about. But I'm very much a judge me by the fruit of my character, and test it for yourself. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at the same time, if you have stumbled upon me just by accident, you're here on purpose. And I highly encourage you to just pause your disbelief as we go through today, but also the next 5 days together, to really just allow yourself to open up your eyes and ears and perhaps hear something in a different way, even if it's something that you've heard before. Okay. So day three is all about objections. It's all about sales conversations, whether you're dealing with people face to face, over the phone, using a video chat, using any sort of mechanism in order to create a connection and a real genuine conversation. That's what we're talking about on day three. And I want you to know that you may be self-sabotaging yourself without even realizing it, because I did this too, even with 20 years of sales experience behind me. When I had to sell my own services, man, was it really, it was a epic fail. Okay. So I'm going to share some of the things that I learned in order to help you. Day four, which will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it'll be Monday. Okay. On Monday, we're going to be talking about how to sell using nothing more than your phone. Like right now, I'm using my laptop, but if I could, I'd be using my phone because it's with me everywhere I go. And that's why it took me a little bit, because I had to just figure out a new way of using video. So how can you use the power of video and your phone to build know, like, and trust? I believe it's the fastest and easiest and simplest way. Even if you're an introvert, I am an introvert. And a lot of times people are surprised, but I've learned these skills. I've learned the skill of sales. And that's one of the things that I want you to take away from today, is that most of us aren't born We don't come out of the womb going, buy this, help me do that. Even the best salespeople, they have innate characteristics and traits, but they learn the skill and they improve as they keep practicing. And that's what I want us to be able to do over the next 5 days, is really create a safe space for us to practice. Okay. And day 5, our final day, will be on Tuesday. And that is what sets you apart from the competition. I actually don't believe in competition. I believe that there is more than enough for everybody. I truly do, right? So I come from a place of abundance, a mindset of just sheer, there's no limits. There's no limits to what is available and what's possible. And when you understand that, yes, there are people doing the exact same thing in the exact same industry, or perhaps the exact same field, maybe even saying the exact same things as you. But what makes you different and unique? I need you to know that you absolutely can be a red ocean in amidst a sea of blue. And why you might be struggling to figure this out, because it's very hard to read the label from inside the bottle. Okay, so with that being said, day 1 through 5, we're going to be here every single day at noon Pacific for about an hour or so. It might be a little bit less, it might be more, depending on the types of questions that I get. This is your time. So I would invite you right now that if you are used to giving and pouring out and finding it difficult to ask for help, this is no holds barred, no judgment, no shame, no fear, no stupid questions. This is where I would invite you to get exactly what you want over the course of our time together. This is me giving freely, and I'm going to do what I teach, which is I serve when I'm selling, and I absolutely am going to be making offers every single day over the course of the next 5 days. Now, if that's not something that you're comfortable with, feel free to do whatever you want with your own time and your own energy. But for me, this feels good. And it makes me really excited to be able to show up every day, because I know that no matter how much time that I spend, I simply cannot go through every single piece that you're going to need in order to get fully booked in your business, in order to have clients on repeat, in order to generate that wait list and have sold out offers that you desire, so that you can create impact, income, and be influential in your market. As a result, I want you to, even if you're not going to do anything else, but just watch me and see how I sell, because I am always curious about how others sell as well. And I think it's really important that you know yourself, you know your style, but you also give yourself permission to not judge others for what they need to do in order to be aligned, right? And so we're already starting with this teaching here. So what are you selling? So whether you are a coach, a consultant, or an expert service provider, I want you to let me know right now, what is it that you sell? Tell me about your offer. Okay. I want this to be an interactive experience. And if you're watching on the replay, and you happen to be signed up into our 5-day masterclass series in our portal, I want you to add your comments below as well. What is it that you sell? Because the more that you can practice this, the more that you gain confidence in sharing. Because if you don't ask, if you don't tell people, how in the world are they going to be able to buy from you? And so oftentimes we think that it's the widget, right? Like it's the exact thing that we're selling. But what makes me buy this phone case, as an example, and the vast majority of my clients are not selling products alone. They're usually a coach, a consultant, or an expert in the field that they're in. So perhaps that's you. I want you to claim your expertise, because you are selling more than just your product or your service or your program or your course or your book. You're selling, part of it is you're selling yourself. Now, hear me out, because I know this is where it gets a little, because again, when I first started, I was very uncomfortable, because when you are in a sales or marketing role, and perhaps you have some experience selling, Maybe you sold Girl Guide cookies, or you sold something for school for a contest, right? And you were so excited to get that prize that it really didn't matter what you were selling. You just wanted people to buy because you wanted the thing at the end. Now, your business is actually not so different from that initial experience that you may have had that you had to sell. Now, hear me out, because I know sometimes we go, wait, what? This doesn't make any sense at all. I'm out to change people's lives. I want to help as many people as possible. I get it. But at the same time, the reason why somebody chooses you, like why does somebody buy a Toyota versus a Honda? Okay. Why does somebody buy a Ford versus a Chevrolet? Why does somebody buy Apple versus Android? There is something that connects you to your ideal dream client. That's what they're really buying. They're buying into a dream, a vision, a transformation, a result. But more importantly, they're buying into the feeling of what it would be like to have that in their life, right? So, I mean, I think most of us have a phone, right? As you might be able to tell, I'm Team Apple all the way. Where are my Team Androids, right? Because I know this is a hot debate in my family when we get together with my sister, my brother-in-laws. Which team are you on? Why do people feel so passionately about something that's as simple as a phone? Because it evokes a response, it evokes an emotion, it connects somebody to an identity that they have. And if you understand that what you are selling is actually something that allows people and gives them permission to be more of who they desire to be, that's really what you're selling. Now, again, this is not an ad. This is not sponsored. I just happen to be drinking some tea, and I love the ladies over at Funnel Gorgeous, but this is an example, right? You can't buy this mug. Now, I got it because I attended an event and it happened to be part of the swag. And if you can't read it, it says, I build gorgeous funnels. I build gorgeous funnels. Now, this ties into an identity. There were people who wanted to just buy just the mug. It's not available. Can you imagine? And it's because it allows people to feel part of a community. It taps into who they desire to be, and it forms an identity of who they are and who they want to be and who they believe themselves to be. And that's the same even for a phone, right? Why did I declare that I'm Team Apple? Again, not sponsored, not an ad. It's because this means something to me. Your product or service, the programs, the courses, even the speeches that you put out, the books, right? So if you're a speaker, an author, a coach and consultant, a professional service provider, the thing that you do for clients, it does something for them. Whether you're protecting their current situation so that they don't lose what they have, whether you're making an improvement because it's something that they desire, they need to make a shift, they need to break through, they need to change their lives. Maybe they need to lose the last 10 pounds, right? So Ruth is saying, I'm a music teacher. Our school helps people gain mastery, confidence, and joy. Amazing. And as a child who grew up playing multiple musical instruments, dancing, and in choir, I love the work that you do, Ruth, right? Because it creates an experience. And so typically, I'm going to guess that your ideal clients are the parents of the kids, but absolutely, there are some kids who beg, that was me, who beg their parents, please, please, mom, please, dad, can I go and learn this? Why? Because it forms an identity. In their mind, they're seeing their child as a certain person. They desire to give their child access to something that they perhaps didn't have themselves, right? So it's about creating an opportunity to be a different person, to live a different life than the one that they had grown up with. So somewhere in their mind, there's some lack. And you're giving them the fullness of what it is that they actually desire. Does that make sense? So I want you to write in the comments, right? I want you to participate here. What is it that you are truly selling? Like, what are the things that your ideal clients actually resonate with? So I'm going to give you a very, very simple formula that we're going to follow along with. Because if you look at your offer, because the number one question that I often get is, how do I know if it's irresistible? How do I know if it's irresistible? Because everybody wants an irresistible offer. An irresistible offer is something that people can't resist. They're like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. Now, at the core, desire is not something that you often can manufacture, right? It takes some chutzpah to do that. And while you absolutely can, oftentimes when we are trying to manufacture desire, that's exactly what happens. We're manufacturing it, right? And so we're pulling on some psychological triggers and doing all kinds of things, usually with FOMO and usually with like social proof, like a lot of things that we can use as levers in order to influence and persuade and almost veering in the convincing territory. What I would encourage you instead is to consider that there are people, I think there's over 7 billion people on the planet. So if that's the case, surely the amount of clients that you need, so I want you to tell me in the comments, how many clients do you need to be fully booked? How many clients do you desire to serve for the rest of this year, right? We're mostly through June. And we have basically 6 months left of the year, right? Starting from July. We're going to be at the halfway point. So given that, where have you been and where do you still have left to go? And with that expectation in mind, how many more clients would you like to serve? How many more clients would you like to help with the products and services that you have? How many more lives do you want to impact? Let me know what that number is. Because if we don't have a vision of where we're trying to get to, it's going to be very difficult to keep going day by day because we're going to struggle. The journey of entrepreneurship is not for most, let's face it, right? There's far more employees in the world today than there are employers or companies and businesses. And the reason for that is because not everybody's cut out for this work. But if you're here, I know that you're here on purpose, for a purpose. So if we look at the fact that your offers can be irresistible, but they really shouldn't be irresistible to everybody, then how do you make it irresistible to your dream clients? Okay. So what exactly gets people to buy? Number one, they have to have a desire for it. And again, you can manufacture desire, but really and truly, so let me put this into an analogy that I think all of us can hopefully relate to, right? So if you've ever dated somebody, if you have a partner or a spouse, if you have been in a relationship that is meaningful and integral and based off of very common values and principles, I want you to go back and think to when you were still trying to figure out that person. And how did you navigate those conversations? If you were in a crowded room, if you were at a bar, a restaurant, a club, right, a bookstore, wherever you happen to meet this person. For me and my husband, we met through school, but we actually didn't meet until we went out to a club one night, right? A whole group of friends. So what was it that kind of sparked that attention, that started that desire? Because there was a whole group of us. Well, that desire needs to start somewhere inside of that person, right? Inside of me, inside of you. And for your ideal client, that desire has to already be somewhere innate in them. And yes, you can plant the seed of desire, but again, just think like a farmer. When you have to plant something on your own, you have to like nurture, grow it, take care of it, do all the stuff that's required to plant it. And that takes time depending on the growing season, right? But what happens if you stumble upon somebody that already has a desire? What happens if you find somebody who's already your type? You get where I'm going here, right? So my husband already kind of fit my type. And so immediately he already moved forward in the box, right? Of like, caught my attention. So I want you to think for your own business. Wouldn't it be easier if you already spoke the language of your ideal clients, your dream clients that already has a desire for what it is that you do? And it's almost like a meeting of the minds, right? A synchronicity that happens because you bypass all those steps. You don't have to plant anything. You don't have to sow that seed of desire there. You already found somebody that has a seed that just needs to be like, can we blow on that? Can we spark that interest? Can we take that little ember of fire that's, just slowly burning, just waiting for that perfect person, waiting for you to reach out and go, hey, do you desire to do this? Have you ever considered? And to have them go, oh my gosh, how did you know? Like that's been a secret desire of mine. So 7 billion people on the planet. I guarantee you that you have more than enough people. And in fact, here's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to get real here, right? The number one thing that's holding you back from creating an irresistible offer is trying to create an offer that will help all 7 billion people on the planet. I'm going to say that again. The number one reason why your offer is not irresistible is because you are trying to help all 7 billion people on the planet. Now, I'm not discounting the fact that you absolutely can, should, will help as many people of those 7 billion as you possibly can. Because if I know anything about you and the type of person that you are, if you're like my clients and myself, you have a big desire. You have a big vision and a big mission that God has planted inside of you. But how do we eat an elephant? Just like how do we help 7 billion people? One person at a time, one dream client at a time. And when we try to, spread the message to the masses and we don't address each person as we come to them, it makes it very difficult for you to create a connection, to have meaningful conversations that actually turn into conversions, which are paying customers. Okay. So number one, I want you to start focusing on not 7 billion people, not even, 10,000 or 100,000 or a million or even 100. I want you to focus on one dream client. Maybe you've already had that dream client and you just want to replicate them over and over and over again. Amazing. I want you to think of that one person when you are creating your offers, when you're talking about your offer. What would make that offer so irresistible to them? That one dream client is enough to create 10, 100, 1,000, and a million. How do I know? Because I literally built not just my own online business, but I have built a franchise business within my corporate career to $15 million in 18 months. One client at a time. One client at a time. And in case you're thinking, well, gosh, you must have had thousands of clients to do that. No, we had 432 clients when we crossed over 15 million. So it doesn't take a lot of people. It takes the right people. And my very first 5-figure month, knowing nothing about online business, I knew about people. And that's what I want you to understand is that businesses are based off of people. And the more you focus on the people that you serve, the less it matters whether you're dealing with online, offline, and the very specifics of what it is that you sell. Because the number one thing that I always get clients saying is, but Susan, my business is different, but I do this. And no, you don't understand. I may not understand your specific business, but I do understand people. After a lifetime of watching and learning and paying attention and experimenting and seeing what I like and what I respond to, and then testing that out on others now over the course of, 40 plus years, and doing this in a very public way through my corporate business, like experience with hundreds of thousands of people, like 40 people in a day, that kind of volume. Okay. So that has given me a very unique perspective to be able to give you this experiential knowledge and wisdom. So Don't take my word for it. I want you to test this for yourself and just see, is this true for you, right? Does this fall in line with what you believe and understand about offers and what you buy? Because at the end of the day, every single thing that we purchase does something for us, right? And it does something for you specifically. And if that business did not speak to you in whatever way that you're trying to be connected to, you may or may not buy from them. So why are you choosing to buy, even why this water bottle versus another? Why this phone versus another? Why this t-shirt versus another? And sometimes it doesn't matter, right? I totally get that. But I'm guaranteeing that if you're here right now watching this, that your work makes a difference. And if you want to make a difference to all the people, you need to focus on that one person first, okay? Your perfect dream client. The second piece is you have not nailed the main problem that you solve. Now, here's the thing. When you are, and we'll talk about this a little bit more on day 3 when we're talking about pricing, like the objections that you're facing. You right now, if you are a problem solver, so if you're a problem solver, let me know. Put up a hand and just say, yep, that's me. Because businesses solve problems. But if you're going around looking for new problems to solve, you are going to be exhausted. That is the surefire way to not make progress. So the thing that you already have created, the offer that you already have, the type of business that you run, right? So Ruth wants to have 100 students at her conservatory by December. Amazing. So what would be the main problem that your students would have that would make them select your conservatory, your school over somebody else? Why you, right? If we don't understand what that number one problem is that's directly connected to their desire, which is the other part, which is the promise. So this is my 3P model. Okay, this is my proprietary simple way of being able to explain this so that you kind of get it right away. Okay, so I want you to look at your offer through this lens. Number one, is it for one perfect dream client, your person? That's the first P. Number two, does it speak to or solve the biggest problem that your dream client wants to get rid of? Okay, not everybody else, not their cousin and their auntie. No, that dream client needs to know that if I do this with you, that I get rid of this thing that's nagging at me, right? I get rid of this issue that is causing fear or trepidation or even overwhelm or just uncertainty. That's what you're selling your clients is the dream, the desire, but also you're selling them certainty. You're selling them, if I do this, then I know that I can get this. And I'm not talking about guaranteeing results, although for some of you, the type of business that you do, you are guaranteeing results because either you're doing it yourself or your teams are doing it, or you're helping them to cross the finish line. So like for Ruth, perhaps not that you're guaranteeing, but your goal is to help your students improve to such a degree that they keep improving in their musical career, right? So that they are making progress, and whether they're taking musical exams, like music exams against the conservatory, whatever it is that is the case for you, you can measure their progress. Every child is going to be different. Every client is going to be different. And here's the thing that I want you to know. This is a writer-downer. You are not responsible for anybody's failure or success. I'm going to say that again. You are not responsible for anybody's failure or success. You don't take ownership of that. The only thing that you can take ownership of is whether or not you have done what is required in order to help them to either improve, hopefully, right? To get the transformation, to get closer to the dream and the desire that they signed up for. That's the last P, right? So your perfect person, your dream clients, the pain point or the problem, and the last part is the promise. What is the dream or the desire? What are you promising them? And I know sometimes if you are anything like me and my clients, you are a woman or a man of your word. And as a result, you take things very seriously, right? You take ownership and personal responsibility of what you say. But because of what I just said before, which is you are actually not responsible for somebody's success or their failure, what you are promising is that you are going to show them what to do and how to do it so that they can get what they desire. But even if you are with them 24/7, I mean, even when my kids were really little, right? Because I am a married mama of two. My kids are now much older. They live under my roof all the time, but I'm not with them all the time. Like even now, I'm in my office doing this. They're upstairs doing, I don't know, right? I can't be with them all the time. So I have to have trust and faith and belief that what I have taught is good enough and that they're going to do and adapt however they need to in order to implement that. I can't own that. You can't own that for your clients either. Like right now, Ruth, you can't own whether or not your students will practice. And believe me, I've been there, right? I've been there where my mom's like, did you practice? Do your skills? Okay. Right. And there were long stretches where I didn't. And guess what? My teacher could tell. My teacher could tell every time. You are the teacher. You are the coach, the guide, the mentor, the expert. You're going to be able to tell when your clients aren't doing what's required. And at the end of the day, it cannot be a reflection of you. Your offer needs to stand as like a whole complete package. Now, you may be part of that offer. That's totally fine. But what I'm saying here is that you cannot want it more than your clients want it for themselves. And sometimes our hearts are so big that we want it so badly. And we're like, but if only they did this, then they would get everything they desire. Here's a mantra, an affirmation, a declaration, a decree, whatever you want to call it, that I want you to speak out loud. My clients get exactly what they need because they desire to have a change, and whatever they're ready for, they will receive. Okay. I want you to just repeat that over and over again if this is an area that you are struggling with because it's not allowing you to actually believe that your offers are irresistible, or more importantly, that you are afraid to make your offer even more irresistible to your dream client because you're holding on to maybe old visions, like the old stuff that you know you need to let go of because you actually need to move into a fresh new start or a fresh new season. Does that make sense? Hello, Kylie. Thanks for joining. I see you there, my dear. So I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but I just felt this like a little bit of a shift. It is okay to let go of stuff that does not serve you. It is okay to let go of things that, they have sold in the past, but they are no longer feeling irresistible to you. Right? This whole concept of creating an irresistible offer is not just about selling for selling's sake, and it is not about just making money for money's sake. It is really about when you create a business where you are the majority stakeholder, right? Where you are the main employee. This particular training is not built for massive companies or corporations like the one that I spent the bulk of my corporate career in. This is made for the solopreneur and the small business owner that has small teams that wants and desires to have even more because of the impact that you want to create in the world. And it costs money to do that. And so at the end of the day, yes, there is a shift in the marketplace. There are things coming externally in the economy that I have been talking to my clients now for, this is going to be 3 or 4 years now as I've been preparing them for downturns in the market. Now, this is not a doom and gloom, and I'm this kind of out of the scope of what we're going to be talking about today specifically, but I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that when there's opportunities to pivot, right? When there's opportunities to pause and evolve, that you give yourself permission to change and shift because your desire, right? We spent a lot of time talking about our dream clients and the spark of desire, that if we meet them where they are, that it's much easier than having to plant that seed of desire. That's really what you're selling, is you're selling the desire that they already have innate within them. Well, what about your desire? So I want you to let me know, right? What is it that you desire? What is the offer, the irresistible offer that you're selling? What does it help you to do? What's the vision that you see beyond the actual offer? Bigger and bigger and bigger than what it is that you're manifesting inside of just making money within the context of what you're selling. What is it? Because I'm going to tell you, for Steve Jobs, this phone was not the desire. This was not the dream or the vision, right? He he had a bigger vision than just, at the time, it wasn't even a phone. Do you remember? It was the little tiny iPod. Do you remember how this all started? It's years ago now, right? That little dream that actually was a massive dream was about shifting the way that we work with technology. And it was really about making technology more accessible to the masses, right? He saw a world that we really are just starting to creep into now, a whole new digital landscape. And it started with the iPod, the iPod, right? So, what if the vision that you have is starting with your offer? And right now, it may feel so small and so inconsequential. And I would just encourage you that your dream and your vision is massive. I know it is, because so this is the first place that I've shared this publicly. Because most of you may already know, and if we're brand new, I realize I haven't even fully introduced myself. My name is Susan McVeigh, and I am a business sales strategist, and I have almost 20 years in corporate experience selling in non-traditional sales, which is why I sell the way that I do. Okay. So I did not come from a traditional sales environment. I came from the world of corporate finance, banking, very compliance heavy, very regulated, and not really thought of as a sales environment. That's how I sold for almost 20 years, and not just personally, more than 40 million, but my teams. And so the frameworks that I teach have been responsible for selling well over 600 million. I have built a business inside of that corporate environment to $15 million. And my parents were small businesses, like small business owners, immigrants to Canada. And the bulk of my life has been spent observing, participating, and helping them to build their business as well. And so it soaks in, right? And so there's things that I take for granted because I don't even realize that I do it. So the reason why I'm sharing all of this is because I want you to know that now is the time for you to really sell what you want, to be who you are, to do what you've been created to do, right? My mission has always been to see more female millionaires in the world, because with that background, I literally have seen, I can't even count how many bank account balances, investment accounts, like balances that have lots and lots of commas attached. I've seen people come in that have barely two nickels to rub together, and those that have plenty, and everything in between. And I've seen how people actually use their money, spend their money, steward it, and who has the most. And unfortunately, today, it's still men. Sorry, gents, love you too. But my mission is to have more women understand what it's like to have that level of wealth and certainty for themselves, their families, their communities, because with money comes power, comes change. And I firmly believe that if more women were in charge, if more women had money, that the world would look like a very different place. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And beyond that, I want to empower a million women to change the world. And I have a goal and I have a dream that God has planted in me to create a foundation in order to help give more than we receive, because I am a very good steward of the gifts that God has given to me. And as a result, I know what to do with the things that I have and the things that are still yet to come, and to teach and empower other people how to grow and build their wealth. And that doesn't happen with a small amount of money. I need a lot of resources to be able to do the things that I want to do for the women and children around the world that don't have the opportunities that you and I have here, right? We take it for granted that, hey, my phone's not working. I don't have 5G. Boo-hoo. I mean, these are first world problems. I totally understand, right? And I don't even have the right perspective to be able to articulate the differences of what it would be like for me to go to some of these countries or help some of these women and children in areas where I can't relate because that's not my life. It's not been my life. I'm very grateful, but that's the bigger reason why I am looking tooth and nail through everything that I offer and making sure that we are doing our darndest to help our clients as much as we possibly can. And that might mean a shift for the things that we're doing as well. And I'm sharing this because I want to give you permission that if this season right now is requiring you to close some doors on some offers, opportunities, even clients you have served that have been very lucrative, that have been very, influential and impactful in your life, and you're wondering, am I making a big mistake? Because this other thing that I'm feeling called or led to, it's irresistible to me, but I don't know if anybody else desires it yet. Today, right here, I want to give you permission to tap into that, to lean in and to really think about these 3 Ps, right? The perfect person, your dream client, the problem that you're solving, because it still needs to solve a problem. It can't just be a pipe dream or a vision and a promise with nothing attached to it. It needs to have, it's a 3-legged stool, right? And if you're missing one of those legs, guess what happens? You can't really use that stool, right? And then the promise, being able to really dive into what is it that if you know without a shadow of a doubt that somebody was to follow your blueprint, your methodology, and your framework, the exact thing. And here, oh, thank you, Jesus. There is something right now, somebody here, if you're watching this live, and this is probably going to be for more, because I usually, when I speak to multiples of people. That's the gift that I've been given, is your life is the blueprint. I'm going to say that again. Your life is the blueprint. So there's something that you have gone through in your life and you're wondering, like, what do I create? Like, I don't have any proof. You, friend, are the proof. You are the proof. And I think I'm speaking to myself as well, because I know this is a message that I have received recently. I am the proof of what's possible. You are the proof. You are, as the saying goes, the proof is in the pudding. You are the pudding. You are it. You are the blueprint. You are the formula. You are the framework. You are the example. You are the testimonial. It's you. It's you. And it could be your children or your family, your friends, your neighbors, people that you have helped without even thinking about it. I'm telling you right now that you may be overlooking $1 million or a multi-million-dollar idea that's hiding right in front of you. Okay. So today was all about creating an irresistible offer. And I want you to just really think mindfully, because at the end of the day, your offers cannot be irresistible to just you. Now, I teach a little bit differently in saying, like, it still needs to be important that it's irresistible to you, because if they're not, guess what happens? You're not going to be excited about selling it. So, but I also don't want you to get caught in the trap that you have to sell your passion. For most of us, the thing that actually has transformed our lives has become so commonplace in our life, in what we do, that yes, you're excited about it, but when people are talking about passion, you may not see it the same way as you originally did. Does this make sense? Like when you first start to learn something, we're going to go back to the relationship analogy, right? When you first start to, date somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so new. It's so exciting. Like the butterflies, the different sensations in your body, the excitement, the thrill. As you keep seeing that person over and over again. Now, my husband and I have been together since 1998. Okay. This is a long time. And I still get giggly and all that kind of stuff, but that doesn't happen every day. That's just the reality of We've been together since 1998, 365 days a year, right? So we have now grown into a different kind of rhythm. And that may be, depending on where you are in your business, kind of a similar thing. And it doesn't mean that you don't have passion. It just means that the level of emotion has shifted. How you feel that desire for your business and your purpose and what it is that you do through your business does not feel the same level of intensity. But it doesn't mean that it's not a high frequency of energy. It doesn't mean that you don't do things with excellence. In fact, it's probably mastery comes when we have spent 10,000 plus hours doing something. And we fall into a zone of unconscious competence, which means you don't even have to think about it anymore. It's like when you're driving, right? Now, I say this because my kiddo turned 16 and we're going to be going through a whole new season of having to learn how to drive and like going backwards in time to remember what it was like to start something brand new again and all the little things that you take for granted. That's what I'm talking about. So for you right now, if you're thinking, but I'm not particularly excited about doing this in the next season that I'm being called to, I'm going back to my roots of a lot of the fundamental investment and wealth building principles that I spent a career, like 2 decades and even beyond. My very first business, believe it or not, was when I was 7 years old. And I loaned my allowance money to my younger sisters. I have 2 younger siblings, and my middle sibling is 2 years younger than me, and she loved candy. And so she would blow through her allowance, which is ironic because my parents owned a grocery store for most of my life. So we were surrounded by candy, right? So there's a lesson in here for somebody here, because even if your ideal clients are surrounded by this, they're still going to come to you. They're going to still buy your candy because it's from you, because it's something that they desire and it's something that they can do for themselves. So when you empower people to make decisions because it's something that they want to do, and whether or not the answer is yes or no is kind of irrelevant. We'll talk about more of that on day 3 when we're talking about objections. But I want you to know that you can do this, right? And it will sometimes feel boring, and it still needs to feel like it's irresistible to you because of either something that's unexplainable, right? There's just like a pull or a call or a flow or an alignment, or it just feels familiar, like home, like comforting, with a peace that just like sits on you. Business does not need to feel hard. It does require work, absolutely. And sometimes it can feel like hard work because you're learning new things, right? And when you're doing things that are outside of your comfort, especially as adults, we get so into the pattern of doing things that we sometimes get in a rut. And when we're having to do new things, it can feel really hard. It can feel really difficult. It can feel like, oh my God, why do I have to do this? But I want you to just give yourself the opportunity to do more of what it is that feels right, right? And I know sometimes it's like, don't get caught up in your feelings. There's a difference between the feeling of an emotion and getting stuck in what I call either pity city, doom and gloom, or negative Nelly, or on the flip side, being a positive Polly, right? Like, the sky is not going to fall. I have more than enough money, and you can't pay your bills. That's both of these sets of personalities. All of these that I've named are toxic because it keeps you from seeing opportunities that are right in front of you. Your irresistible offer that you are trying to sell can save somebody's life right now. You are a lifeline. You are the preserver, and you need to go and start talking about what it is that you do, who you do it for, and how you can help them every single day. That's your homework today. Okay. So there's different components of the offer. Again, I'm not going to, for the course of what we're talking about here, I can't even get into all of the different pieces, but I hope that right here, right now, over the course of almost an hour, that I've given you enough for you to understand and start to connect the dots here, as well as here, with what it is that you sell. to give you another spark of, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I started my business. This is why it's so important that people buy what I have to offer. Again, it's not about the money, although the money is very important, because I'm going to guess you need money to live your life, right? You need money to do the things that you desire, to help the people that you're going to help, to put food on the table for your kids and for yourself. So there is nothing wrong with asking people for money, because you're giving them a chance to change their lives. You're giving them what they desire. Remember what we talked about, okay? You're giving them an opportunity to make a change. And yes, even if it's as simple as a product, although I will be frank, this is not my zone, okay? So if all you sell are like e-com products, this series, it will be helpful, but it's not the most aligned to what it is that you're selling, okay? Most of my clients do end up having, usually they start to add in both pieces, because you may find that there's something like a journal or body products, like different things that can help your ideal clients, and they can be complementary, right? But if you're trying to open up, let's say like a Shopify store, I am not the genius for you. I have this much in that scope. I can point you in the right direction, but I know where my boundaries lie too, right? I can give you overall sales strategy around the people piece, but the actual technical parts, not my zone. So remember, at the end of the day, whether you're selling business to business or business to consumer, we are selling people to people, heart to heart, human to human, right? And in the old days, before we had all this amazing tech, the only way that you actually could sell to somebody was eye to eye, right? Was handshake to handshake, was literally door to door. And now door to door has become this really ugly, ugly concept. But if you have an irresistible offer, why aren't you going digital door to door? Okay. That's the question I'm going to leave you with. I'm not going to answer that for you, but I really encourage you to just sit with, if your offer is irresistible, if your offer is something that people desire, if your offer can transform pain and problem into promise and dream and desire, then why aren't you making more offers? Is it within you? Something inside of you isn't quite aligned? Is there something that you don't believe in? Is there something that you're not trusting in? What is it, right? And so I want you to, if you're inside of our private community, I want you to, share some of these so that we can help each other and learn from each other and bounce off ideas and support one another, because that's the whole purpose of doing this together. And if you have just stumbled upon me, I think in the description, I don't know which way it's going to be, in the YouTube, you can go and join us, okay? 100% free for the course of the 5 days. This replay is going to be pulled down, and it will be disappearing from YouTube, and it will be going straight into our portal once I figure that out. But it will be there for replay for the course of our training series and a little bit beyond. So for a limited time, you'll be able to watch this and all of the other days until Friday, July 1st. So I had promised you at the very beginning that I'm also going to be sharing an offer, right? I'm going to be sharing multiple offers as we go through the course of the 5 days. And if nothing else, I want you to see how you can give and how you can sell all at the same time. It does not have to be awkward. Now, today, I was just going with the flow. The other days may transpire a little bit differently. You can also read in the description what we're going to be covering off each and every single day. So if you need help around your offers, how to get fully booked in your business with your messaging and how you're communicating with clients, whether it's getting onto sales conversations and having more people to say yes, using the power of video like this, or even being able to understand what is your powerhouse potential, like how were you created? What is your unique superpower and gift? And how do you tap into that a little bit more so that things can flow with more ease and grace and alignment and purpose? Then I put together 3 different offers. actually 4. Okay. You're going to be able to find out all the details if you go to susanmcveigh.com / what is it? Summer bundle. Summer bundle. Okay. So if you want to go, you can go and check it out. There's 4 different offers. You can buy all of them. That's the buy it all bundle. You can get the get fully booked bundle, which is your irresistible offer, mastering your message, like how to get booked using your message, and what to say on sales conversations. And it's the exact formula that has generated millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for myself, for my clients, for my corporate sales teams, to the tune of over 600 million in sales. So that's bundle number 2, because we have get it all. And then the get fully booked bundle has those 3. You can grab the sell with video bundle, which is create your irresistible offer and sell from live streams. It is the exact formula that has created multiple 5-figure months, even though I was brand new in my online business. So you do not have to build up authority, expertise, or credibility. You do not have to have a big name or a big list or a big audience. You don't even have to have any kind of major connections. You simply need to know how to speak to people in a way that gets them excited and gets them identifying and putting up their hand. So even if you're selling a higher priced program, you absolutely can use video and the power of videos in order to be able to qualify and only get on the phone with your perfect fit dream clients that are ready to buy. That's the power of being able to build that relationship. So every day of the next 5 days, we're going to be breaking down one component of each of these pieces, so that as you go along, my goal is to help and serve and give you whatever it is that you desire and you need. But I also know that there's some of you that may be you right now, that need more, that need to keep going. And that's why I've put these bundles together, because now more than ever, you need to keep selling. You need to keep building your business. Now is the time to dig in. And in corporate, whenever there was a slowdown in the downturn of the markets, because having been in business in the corporate environment since 1998, I have gone through 3 formal recessions in my business career. Now in my business, and now in my business, it's just something that we are constantly preparing for, because what goes up must come down. It must come down. That's the way that the market cycles work, right? The vast majority of business owners, especially in the online space, have never gone through an actual market downturn aside from COVID. And COVID was not real because the government pumped so much money into the economy that it was very short-lived. So the full repercussions of what it's like to run a business through an entire recession, the last full one was in 2008. I'm going to guess that the majority of you have not had that experience. So it's really important. It's imperative, actually, that you don't hide, that you show up even bigger, and that you double down on personal development. Because when we used to do this in corporate, the slow times were when you had enough time and space to start practicing, where it didn't, how do I say this? Not that it didn't make a difference. It didn't count as much, because you weren't going to be closing the biggest deals of your life when things are tougher. That being said, you actually need to up-level your skills when times are tougher, because every dollar counts and every dollar matters. And I know that right now there's a supernatural acceleration of things that are happening in the marketplace, that if you take the leap and you do what's required and you keep putting one foot in front of the other, that there is going to be there's an acceleration that's happening. And if we are led by faith and not by fear, we can see those opportunities with clear vision, clear hearts, and clear minds, instead of being trapped and wrapped into all of the things that are going on around us. Okay, so that's the third bundle. The last offer is working with me one-on-one inside of a powerhouse power up capacity. So that one, if you feel called to it, again, it's really about tapping into your unique superpower. It is a 60+ questionnaire that you need to submit. Don't get Don't get like, oh my gosh, take all the time that you need, but it is required, because the level and the depth of which I want to discover where you're at so that we can look at your strengths and your opportunities in a lot of granular detail is needed in order to help you to tap in to something that might be right in front of your face, right? So that you can be more aligned, more in love with yourself and your business and how everything is created and going to be moving forward with way more simplicity and ease. So all the offers, you can take a look. We're going to be talking about them every single day as part of this series. And if you do have questions on the offer, now is the time, right? Now is the time to start asking and getting your help and getting my help to figure out where you're at. Because just like I teach the same way that I sell. I want you to make the best decision for you. And I would encourage you to think about how you like to buy is usually how you like to sell, right? And so do I need to convince you to buy anything? No. The information is there. It's not a ton of information because that's usually not the people that I tend to attract. I know if you're anything like me, you're an action taker, that you probably have already been doing some research or looking for different things that might be working for you and wondering like, is it me? What's going on? And if you're here right now and you're still watching, I am just super grateful for you. But I also know that the reason that you're on is because there's some part of you that is wondering, is this the thing that I need, right? Is this finally the thing that I am looking for? And I want you to be guided and to trust that whatever decision, and it could be a no, I'm totally fine with that, that it is the right decision for you, that it is your decision to make. And if I can help empower you by giving you the information that you're missing in order to feel really good about that decision, then now's the time, right? This is where, as a business owner, you have to ask for what it is that you want. And this is not part of the lesson, but this, you're going to write her down here, okay? You have not because you ask not. If you don't have the level of business success that you desire, what are you not asking? What are you not ready to receive, right? When we ask for something, we have to be able to receive it back. And oftentimes, and I speak from personal experience, our pride, our ego, our expectations, like where we are in our life, we've kind of built up, oh my gosh, I don't think I should have to ask for help. Why? Right? And so all of these things are lies straight from hell in order to keep us from actually pursuing the level of where we are meant to be. And I, right now, personally, I am unapologetic about asking for help. I am the first person to ask for, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Right? And if somebody is going to gratefully give me help, I will take it because I can't do it all. And neither should you. And whether it's from me or anybody else, I really just want to encourage you that your offers are good enough. You are good enough. What you do is more than good enough. In fact, it is exactly what somebody else needs. And somebody right now is waiting on you. And you need to get over yourself. You need to get out of the comfort zone and out of your box. And you need to start doing the thing that you are called to do. And yes, it's scary. And yes, it's uncomfortable. I'm going to share right now. This is my first time going live on YouTube. And I had to figure out the tech. And yes, I've gone on video multiple times, but it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. And, doing this in a very public way, talking about something that I've talked about for a long time, but it's been a while since I've talked about it publicly outside of my paying clients. You fall out a little bit out of practice as well, not even knowing exactly what's going to come out of my mouth, right? Because I'm led divinely. And with all that being said, I still did it. And if I can just be a light for you to show you that you can do this too, because I magnify and amplify other people's gifts. I know that. And if you're on here right now, something went like this. I don't know what that is for you, but I trust and I know that there is something that just pulled at you. There's something that just like, you got to, kick in the can, you got to boot to the butt. There is something that made your spirit leap. And whether it is an idea, a dream, a vision, something that you finally was like, oh my gosh, I can see it. I really want you to hold on to that. I want you to chase that spark. I don't want you to let those negative Nelly thoughts just drown them out before they even have a chance to survive. Now is the time where every seed that we are sowing is, if we are, good stewards, if we do what's required as a farmer, you're a farmer in your business, you will sow what you reap. And are you sowing what you desire? And if you are sowing the seeds of hard work, meaning like you're actually putting in the work, right? Effort, desire, loyalty, integrity, visibility, personal responsibility, execution, doing all of the things that you do, service, leadership. And we plant those seeds and we are nurturing and showing up and consistently doing them, even when nobody's watching. They will sprout overnight. And right now you may be thinking, I don't know who this is for. I just feel led to share this. You may have been crying, wailing, nothing's been working and you're waiting for a turnaround. Or on the flip side, from the surface, everything looks amazing. This was me before my breakdown. From the surface, nobody would even guess that there's anything wrong. There's something inside that isn't quite fulfilled. It isn't quite lined up and you feel guilty. You feel ungrateful. You feel shame and remorse and regret that, why am I feeling this way? I want to just give you permission that perhaps you're feeling this way because you're called for more. You're meant for more. And this is the season to let go of what other people think, what other people expect, what you think of yourself, and to just go after what you want, right? And to trust that that emotion that's been planted inside of you is really a seed of desire for the true thing that you are meant to do before you got distracted, before maybe your career or your children or your first business or the clients that just appeared out of nowhere and you're like, I should be grateful for this. This is amazing. And now you're wondering what's next because it's not quite working the same as it was before. And I'm not saying this from a place of being ungrateful. I'm saying this from a place of you were called for more. And for such a time as this, that there is a season for you to break free. And in the midst of turmoil and uncertainty and chaos and confusion, that you are being called to be that light, to be the shining light for somebody else. And thank you, Jesus. You already have somebody in mind and you're just afraid to reach out and say something. So I'm going to do this publicly because I have this on my list and maybe somebody has access to this person and make it easier for me, right? Because when we speak our desires out loud, the atmosphere, the vibrations of the universe, they respond because it's all energy, right? All energy. This is science. It's proven. It's fact. And it's also spiritual. So I bought a book written by Joshua Giles. I would love to have the Audible version, but there isn't one. And so immediately, this has nothing to do with my current business, okay? It's everything to do with me as a human. And so I got the instant download and because it was my desire. I thought, well, surely if I want an Audible version, somebody else might want an Audible version too. Well, of course, one of my biz besties was like, oh my gosh, is there an Audible? And I said, no, I don't know why. I said, I have the idea to record the audio, an audio version because I have the book. I'll just record it for him. Maybe he's too busy. I don't know what's going on, right? Maybe just didn't think of it. Let me record it for him. My free gift. So that's on my list. to reach out to Joshua Giles and his ministry. So if anybody has a leg up on him, feel free to reach out and let me know how to contact, because I want to just give that gift in order to help other people so that he could sell it, do whatever he wants with it. But I feel led to it, right? But that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes the things that we actually want to create it doesn't even always make sense. But this would make his offer irresistible. Irresistible. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Because it solves a problem for me. It solves a problem for somebody else that I know. What if your offer already does that and you just simply are not telling enough people about it? You have refused to open up your mouth and start sharing it. I need you to do that today. Okay? So, homework. I've given you a bunch of homework. But here's what I want you to post in our community. I want you to post why your offer is irresistible. And bonus points, not that we're giving out points, but bonus points if you can describe your perfect person, your dream client, the problem you solve with your offer, and the promise that you provide. And remembering that you are not responsible for anybody's failure or success. That is on them, okay? But you absolutely are responsible for your teaching, your guidance, the mentorship, the blueprints, the curriculum, the energy, the exchange, and how you show up. That is on you. You take personal responsibility for that. But the outcomes, whether they're positive or negative, have nothing to do with you. They don't, unless you're the one physically delivering the service, right? Like somebody's paid you for a graphic design or a website, and now you have to give the website. As long as you've delivered what you were supposed to, you have no control over if people are still going to be unhappy, because that happens, right? It happens. The only thing that you can own is what you promised and being able to give them what that looks like. The rest of it is on them. And that makes you irresistible. It means that you can operate with integrity in everything that you do, knowing that you're going to attract the right people that get the right things from you at the right time. Make sense? Okay, so thank you so much for joining. We will be back here tomorrow, noon Pacific. Okay, so bring your questions. Tomorrow is day 2, and we are talking all about what gets dream clients working with you, wanting to work with you, and the real reason that you can command premium prices. So if you've been wanting to sell offers that are valued at a higher price point, if you want to command a higher level of authority in the market, if you want to be seen as the go-to expert, if you want to be seen as a premium coach, consultant, or expert service provider, if you want to know how you can charge more and still have all the clients that you desire without having to, don't compete on price. This is going to be covered off in day 2. Okay, so we're going to be talking all about that tomorrow. So thanks so much. I appreciate you all. If you have not yet joined the free 5-day masterclass series, the link is in the description. I think it's susanmcveigh.com/summer-YT. It'll be down there. In case you're catching us late, click that, opt in so that you get access to the replay and the private community. We will be putting all of that and some amazing resources in there for you over the course of the next 5 days. If you need time, obviously, to take a look at what it is that I've just shared with you, I will be putting links in there so that you can peruse everything that I've shared, including the special bundle offers, so that you can go and grab your copies and make sure that you ask any questions that you have. With that, I wish you all the best. I hope you have a wonderful, magnificent Friday, and we will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.